Check the description for the following discount codes. This video is just a very quick tip on how to improve the black levels on our Oculus Quest 2s. Now, they are LCD panels, so don't expect miracles. It's never going to be the same as OLED, far from it, and it's never going to be the same as, say, the LCD panels on the G2, which have really, really good blacks. You know, you can only polish a turd so much, if you're familiar with that expression. Not that the Quest 2 is a turd, but, you know, to hit that price point that they did, they have used, you know, a cheaper single LCD panel, you know, that doesn't have the greatest of dynamic range when it comes to contrast and brightness. But yeah, so someone pointed this out to me in the comments when version 25 update first come out for this. Now, I only got this update 2 days ago. For whatever reason, me here in the UK, it's taken them that long. So I got the version 25 update a couple of days ago. And when version 25 first came out, someone in the comments said, "Carl, can you have a look at the brightness adjustment on it?" No other YouTuber has mentioned the brightness feature, which I think is the most important thing that's been added in version 25. And I said, "I'd love to, mate. I'm sorry if you're watching, I can't remember your name." I said, "I'd love to, mate, but I haven't had version 25 yet." Anyway, I've got it now. And so lo and behold, when you fire up the settings inside your Quest, I'm not going to do sort of like screen grabs and stuff because there's no need. Put your Quest on, click on the settings icon, and what's in front of you now is volumes bar, and right beside it is a brightness slider, and loads of you have probably already noticed this. But this is just in case you haven't, or if, like me in the UK, it's taken this long to get the bloody update, you might not yet have noticed it, because you don't very often go into that particular part. You know, you adjust the volume using those normally. But anyway, click settings. Beside the volume slider is a brightness slider. Now, for those of you that don't know a lot about displays, I thought that sounded a bit harsh, but it doesn't. For people that don't know a lot about displays, I'll explain very quickly the difference between brightness and contrast. A lot of people get the two confused. Your contrast levels actually control how white your whites are. And your brightness level is what actually controls how black your blacks are. If you're someone that calibrates your own home theatre setup or TVs, or you do it professionally for a living, obviously you'll know this. But for the rest of us, you may not have known this. So by giving us a brightness control inside our Quest 2, what they've actually done is given us a black level control. Obviously it's very limited, and as I say, it's not going to turn it into an OLED panel. But by decreasing the brightness, which is on this going to be effectively the backlight, you gradually, less and less, wash out the panel. So the greys start to look more black, and obviously all your other colours and details will get darker with it. So there is a trade-off. You can't just whack the brightness right down and suddenly have magical blacks, but without having lost a little bit of brightness, you know, hence the brightness slider, you know, when it comes to your colours as well. But what I've found is you can pretty much whack it all the way down, because the actual difference between all the way down and all the way up is not massive. They've probably done this on purpose so people can't go to the extremes and then moan that it doesn't look right, or someone's adjusted it by accident and it's like, oh, my Quest looks crap. So yes, the difference between all the way down, all the way up isn't huge. And to be honest, if I had received a Quest 2 with the brightness level set all the way down, like you can do now, I would never have complained that my Quest 2 isn't bright enough. But it does make a noticeable difference to the blacks. They look much more black and far less grey. Now, because we are used to having it up higher, because I think by default it's on the maximum brightness, we obviously, when we put it down, we do notice the loss of brightness. But again, if you've got no light leakage inside the headset, we're in a totally dark enclosed environment, you don't need huge amounts of brightness to give us a good clear image. So I find I've set mine, I literally got this update 2 days ago, as I mentioned. So I've only been playing for a couple of hours, dicking about with different things. So I've got it sat slap bang in the middle of the brightness slider. And the black improvement is noticeable. Don't get me wrong, it's not magical, like I say, it's not going to make an OLED panel, but it's noticeably better. And I haven't noticed a loss of clarity or detail by doing so. So if you haven't yet noticed there's a brightness slider, or perhaps you just didn't realise that by adjusting that you can adjust your black levels, grab your Quest 2, go in and load up something that you're familiar with, especially load up a game that has lots of dark areas, because again what you don't want to do is crush the low level detail, and by that I mean turning it so far down that you lose all detail and definition in dark areas. I don't actually think you can in my very quick and limited testing, because it doesn't go down that far. So load up something you're familiar with, or go to a specifically dark area that you're used to, acknowledge how grey the blacks look, press that right hand controller button, click the cog and just move the slider all the way down, and it does it live, so you can literally see the difference as you do it. For me, quite a decent improvement for a free of charge tweak, so to speak, and I thought it was just worth doing a quick video about. Also, one thing to note, if you're a virtual desktop user like I am 99.9% of the time, there's this weird bug, I'm guessing the bug must be with virtual desktop, where if you put the brightness slider all the way down, it goes down and down, 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 and then when you get to the very bottom, it goes to maximum brightness, even though the slider is showing it's all the way down. This took me a few seconds to realise what was going on. I'm sure that just got dark and then went bright again. And if you just move the slider just up one little notch, then it all goes dark again. And then you can move it up incrementally and it works as it should. But for whatever reason in virtual desktop, when you actually bottom out the slider, it goes back to being bright again for whatever reason. So yeah, if you're using VD and you want to try this, move it all the way down and just up a touch, and you can literally just go all the way down, up a touch, all the way down, up a touch. You'll see it go bright, dark, bright, dark. So it's quite easy to see what's going on. Because otherwise, you do what I did, whack it all the way down and go, well, doesn't seem any darker. It looks exactly the same as it always did. And then I realised what had happened, of course. So yes, a couple of little tips there regarding how to play with your brightness slider in your Quest 2. Hopefully it's been helpful to some people. Thank you for watching, and as always, take it easy.